Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and we all are quite excited about an evening which we say is the Oscar award ceremony. But then there are different kind of excitements that become a part of the main theme. And this year, we were shocked to see Chris Rock, a wonderful artist with multi-dimensional talent, was slapped live by Will Smith in front of millions of people because Oscar was streamed live and a lot of people watching, and many people were there. All that is in the who's who of the glamour fraternity of Hollywood were there. We will be talking about this incident where, in front of live audience, someone like well-known face Chris Smith gets slapped, and what it teaches us, what are the questions that it raises, and we'll take a look at uh, violence, anger, and how to manage. Let me take this opportunity of us welcoming Dr. Rakesh Sharma ji. Namaste, स्वागत है आपका.
नमस्कार।
We are also fortunate to be joined by Dheeraj Kaul. So आपका भी स्वागत है धीरज जी. तो आप दोनों के साथ साथ मैं पुनः अपने दर्शकों का स्वागत करके were you watching live at that time, Dr. Rakesh, or whenever you saw it, what did you think? What was your response?
Well, I'll be very honest. I did watch Oscars only for 1 hour, around I think 9:30 or quarter to 10. I went to my bedroom since I had to get up early this morning. So I didn't watch that thing. I was told this morning by someone in two English sentences that Will Smith blah blah blah. So I thought, okay, so Will Smith perhaps told something to Chris Rock, and that's it. At 3 p.m. today, someone else sent me a video, and that's when I was shocked that this was not just words, but Will Smith actually or physically slapped Chris Rock. To put it nicely, I would say that it was embarrassment for Will Smith and kind of horrified situation for Chris Rock. And I think Chris Rock handled it so well, his presence of mind, and he took high road right after that. And we all know, if we want to be honest, that most of us would have reacted very differently as compared to what Chris Rock did. So I actually admire Chris Rock that he did not let it go overboard uh, on making bad situation worse.
Absolutely. Doctor, you're so right. And I would repeat for some of our viewers who have not seen that video, I think it is available online and there are many places where you can see. Just to understand what has happened, and I'll describe it again. So, Chris Rock was mentioning about the film for which finally Will Smith, his wife, both were given Oscar, but he made a comment about his wife which infuriated Will Smith. And if you are not familiar with the context, you may not find that very kind of objectionable. It may just flow if you don't pay that much attention. But so, Dheeraj, you have seen that video, and how how do you think? Just talk about the way Will Smith reacted. Then we'll go back to Chris.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for having me on the show. Like we all know, Will Smith. If you know a little bit about his history, as he has mentioned, he grew up in a very stressful environment. His father used to abuse his mother, so he was not able to stand up for his mother at much earlier young age. And apparently, one of the few characteristics he's trying to do is stand up for his wife. Now, the stage was huge. It's not domestic house. It's in front of millions of live watchers and many hundreds of people watching him in the on the Oscars. I think Chris Rock actually touched the chord by bringing up a disease which his wife has, which is alopecia areata, in which you lose the hair. And he felt his wife is being instigated and made fun of publicly of a disability. So he kind of, in his mind, feels that he stood up to defend his wife's respect and pride. And but nonetheless, nothing justifies using violence. He's followed and really worshipped by millions of people across the world. One of the best entertainers in the world ever. I'm a big fan. And people, they have to show bigger standards, because if this is what will keep around in the world, that if you are in the position of power, you have the right to violate somebody physically, this sends a very wrong message. Same message we are seeing by Putin in Europe. If you have nukes, you are powerful, you can come on a democratic country and attack. So I think he has not apologized. That's a
No,
very
no.
bad.
Okay. So sorry to interrupt. So he apologized later
No,
on.
I
He
know.
didn't. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
did, but he did not apologize to Chris. He apologized to
No.
the
Now he has.
organization.
Now he has done. Now
Okay,
he
so
has.
that's little too late. I think he should have done that right away. First person he should have apologized is Chris, followed by Oscars, and after that, going to a party without giving an apology and dancing as if nothing happened actually shows a little bit of arrogance, which again we as fan of him are a little disappointed, because he's known to be a very sensitive person and very a person which upholds human values, and even he fought for human rights and is part of many NGOs.
So
So we
you.
have higher
Yeah.
expectation
So
from him.
just let me add, what you said is right. Probably he apologized after the academy condemned him.
Correct.
Then he says, I was out of line. I was wrong. And whether Chris Rock's behavior is not exemplary in that circumstances, then what would be, he might have made a mistake, or probably he did, which
But
infuriated.
if I may add a quick point, if I may add a quick point, see, when you are in public life, you have to have a thick skin to take these kinds of. And he's a comedian. That's what he lives on it, on making fun of people. But I do understand he may have crossed a red line, which is very sensitive to him, because his mother was not able to stand up against his father during the violence. But at the same time, they have to have thick skin, and they cannot keep going on the public stage and hit people, which is not justified no matter what you say. And then to have an audacity not to apologize to him but apologize to the academy, and then go and party, and then now when they are putting pressure, he's coming out. So I, as a fan, am very
Disappointed.
disappointed actually.
Okay. I see your disappointment, and I think he also, after introspection, would be disappointed. And he has made a statement which kind of says that he didn't demonstrate the kind of behavior of a person that he wants to be. So there is a work in progress. But now let's look at multiple layers that work on human mind. And Dr. Sharma, looking at the way people react when something is not in line with what they want, and it could be any situation. And I would kind of disagree on comparing Putin's anger with Will Smith's anger. Yeah, I mean, I see them as totally different poles apart kind of situations, but ultimately it is human mind. So Dr. Sharma, are we trained culturally to act in a way where some are better at taming their anger and sort of having a smooth flow, or kind of dissolve it without destroying something inside? Talk to me about your reading of human mind on this side.
Before I say that, I just want to set something very straight. I think public is confused, means the viewers. Will Smith's wife is not just his wife. Will Smith's wife's name is Jada Pinkett Smith. She was an actress before she married Will Smith. She has been in multiple movies. Chris Rock did not see her as Will Smith's wife. Chris Rock looked at her as Jada Pinkett, who has come in multiple movies. He knew her for years. So she's not like one simple, ordinary wife who was never in public life. She is on her own, and she is her life is a public life, like Will Smith or Chris Rock says. Okay, so these people who live their life in a public domain, they are the target of a joke and commentary, all of them, whether you're president of the country or you're a movie star. She was treated by Chris Rock as a movie star and not Will Smith's wife. That's first point I want to say. So second thing, when you're in a crowd and someone is on the stage and they take your name, they are actually honoring you. Even when they make a joke, they highlight your life and your name. A lot of people know, if I'm sitting in the crowd, say, look at Dr. Sharma's gray hair, that person may not be trying to insult me, actually promoting me among masses. So that's what Chris Rock did. And no one actually pays attention to what exactly he said. He said, Jada, I love you. And G.I. Jane too, see you in the next movie. There was no insult. Yes, people are making big deal out of alopecia. But if you all remember, a lot of movie stars actually shave their heads. One of our first Indian star who
Persis
came,
Kambata.
Persis Khambata, had her hair shaved. There's no insult. It's not like Chris Rock's, Will Smith's
Okay,
wife
so now
was
let
suffering
me,
from
yeah, let
cancer or chemotherapy. No such thing.
so
So
I will
all
interrupt
that.
to I will interrupt just to kind of
Yeah.
connect that I'm so happy that both of you showed different point of views
Absolutely.
while Dr. Dheeraj.
Now I'll come to your question.
Okay,
The public needs to know what's the background here. So she is a movie star. She's a target of every joke. She's not a simple housewife. So when Chris Rock said something was not insulting at all, but yes, Will Smith took it as an insult or he didn't like it. He was emotional. I can understand people can have a different meaning than what it was intended to be. But that is not the way in a public life to go on the stage and slap someone. I would have appreciated he used the F word after slap. He could have used F word before slapping from his chair. Or he could have walked to the stage and told Chris Rock, hey, listen, Chris, don't say a single word about my wife. There was no need to slap Chris Rock. And another good point is Chris Rock behaved marvelously well, not to react back, slap, or curse him, or show tantrum. He actually played a classy role. I'm not defending him here. I'm just saying all of us would have reacted very differently,
yeah,
but he did
I
not.
think
So
yeah,
credit should go to him.
I agree with you. And Dheeraj, same question with dealing with anger. How it is different in different individuals, and especially when you are in a position that you can react in a way which is violent or where you can harm somebody, and at that time you control yourself. That is what anger management is. What is it that would have helped Will Smith? He has done everything. So you might have seen his interaction with Sadhguru. You might have seen him talking about Bhagavad Gita. These are some of the things which I saw recently, and he talks about a lot of philosophical aspect, etc. So it was like a fall for someone who is trying to lead a noble life, or a life which is not rooted in these kind of impulsive reactions. Your take, Dheeraj, what might have helped?
Yeah, see, Dr. Sharma also said, one we have to understand Will Smith is not a regular actor. So is his wife Jada Smith. They're not regular people. This is one of the most popular Hollywood star ever. And when I say ever, I mean it. I mean, you name it in Asia, you name it in Europe, Africa, all the continents is very, very famous. Even in India, people know him like anything. He's made amazing movies. That's one aspect of his professional career. The other is non-profit organization. He has a foundation actually, which is called Jada Smith, Bill and Jada Smith Family Foundation, which works specifically on inner community development, youth education, underprivileged children, their families, domestic violence, you name it. So when you are attached with these kind of organization, and mind you, it's not only their money, other people fund these organizations, donate. You have to exhibit a much higher level of self tolerance. You understand you're a very powerful person. So with power comes responsibility. So this is a very clear cut differentiation which people have to understand, that just because you are powerful, successful, and you have a lot of strength, doesn't mean you can leash it on anybody. You have to show that tolerance and responsibility to be able to manage that success. That's another problem. Sometimes success comes to the head of people and they forget where they started their journey, who they are, and we see this all across in every societies. So I think what
So
he could have reminded himself is how people are growing. It's a very competitive field, entertainment industry, as you know. How people have seen their success, how they have grown, what is going on in this person who's a stand-up comedian from 1990s. It's not a new guy. He started his career more than 20 years ago. So can he be just making a comment for sake of making it? I would have more appreciated Will Smith if he would have walked out of that ceremony, said, I don't want to accept Oscar from a man who's demeaning my wife because I'm very sensitive to it. Or he would have, like Dr. Sharma said, went on stage, and or have gone to social media. He has one of the largest followers on Twitter, on Facebook. He could have brought that guy down and made him public apology. So these are certain ways to protest when you are very sensitive to certain things. And I do understand it's not hair loss because of cancer, but for some people, hair is very sensitive area. I can show you people whose lives have changed after hair fall, and they have got hair transplant and they feel better. So we are not the best judges to feel how sensitive somebody is there for their hair fall. But hands down, definitely the behavior he exhibited could have been stopped if you would have thought twice that what example he's setting in front of his young fans. He has fans starting from age 5 to 50, 60 years of
So,
age.
Dheeraj, I think you made a very good point, and whenever there is an impulse to react in such aggressive manner, as child we used to hear that count reverse from 10 to 0, and by the time you reach 0, you'll be fine. So maybe he should have also done that. But he was in a position and he was close to the stage, and those of you who have not seen, he was on the front row, and it was easy for him to walk up, and but he walked as if you won't have that in his body language while he's walking upstairs, that this is what he's going to do. And probably Chris didn't expect to be slapped, and it was quite heavy slap. And even after he came back and sat, as I mentioned earlier, he used foul language, and that coming on live television, it kind of it was shocking, actually, so to say. But now, Dr. Sharma, I'll move to the other side where you feel angered based on what somebody says about something like a movie, The Kashmir Files, in the Vidhan Sabha of Delhi, and that's referring to Chief Minister Kejriwal. Now, people are not there like Chris Rock, and there might have been people who probably felt something similar. And so we saw some people doing, taking out their anger on his cutouts and slapping with chappals and all that. So uh, now, question to you is from a different side. Sometimes people are aware that they can get away by saying whatever they say, and they consciously probably want to anger people. Do you see something like that in the case of Chief Minister Kejriwal, or it was just an innocent expression?
Yeah. Whenever it comes to Chief Minister Kejriwal, it's very calculated game. It's never accidental. It was not like a spur of the moment that Will Smith got angry and in 10 seconds he slapped Chris Rock. Kejriwal has very calculated game. Whether you want to call him anti-national person or someone who is opportunistic, whatever way you want to call, but he is very insensitive to cause of Kashmiri Hindus, and he made a joke out of it in Vidhan Sabha. The way he spoke, it doesn't even tell you that this person is an elected officer of the capital of India. I mean, it's a shame that we have someone like Kejriwal who runs Delhi government, and not only Delhi government, people of Punjab have also elected him indirectly, and it's our or my bad luck. I was born in Delhi, educated in Delhi, and I'm from Punjab. Basically, my parents are from Punjab. So I feel bad for people of Punjab and Delhi that they have voted someone in power who is a shameful person. And I hope people of Delhi and Punjab get some their senses back. It's a shame to tell someone, hey, this is our leader, that we elected this guy who doesn't know how to talk, who doesn't have sensitive issues in a way that we all expect him to behave, and who is more anti-national than Pakistanis are. So
So
that's the
I yeah, let me take the liberty of kind of interrupting you here, and some of your comments, some people may agree, many people may disagree, or many may agree, some may disagree. But coming back to the anger part of it with Dheeraj, and I must not hide, I was personally pained and angered, and I felt how cruel of him to say what he said, ये झूठी फिल्म है और बीजेपी वालों को वो फिल्म के पोस्टर लगवा रहे हैं. his his whole mannerism and selection of words that he chose, it was like he's laughing at people who have suffered. And so from that point of view, since Dheeraj is some first hand knowledge of the plight of Kashmiri Pandits. So, how you felt listening to that, and uh, when there is anger on something that you can do anything immediately or maybe later, how to channelize that? So, there is two pronged question for you, Dheeraj. You are muted. You are muted. Yeah.
Okay. I think, can you hear me? I
Yeah.
think that's a very important question. These are two separate questions. I think anger. I'll start with the second question because the first question will take longer time. So anger management. There are many workshops of it. We have seen this. This is a real disorder. It is a part of many mental disorders, including bipolar, borderline personality disorder, certain schizophrenic patients, certain depressed patients, certain anxiety patients. So mental disorder, it can be a component of mental disorder, but there are many psychotherapy and behavior modification therapies which you can learn in schools, high school, colleges, how to manage anger. And anger can actually bring down your work performance very big time and can create ruckus between your family relationships. So it's a good tool to know when you are getting triggered and how to control it. This workshop would take hours, or I can talk about it, but this is not right. I guess we don't have time for that. But there are many small workshops you can do. Like one of them, you told a very basic one, count till 12. Certain people teach you that when you are angry, start looking inside. What did you do wrong? To put yourself in the other person's shoes. Certain people think that if you throw anger at it, would you feel guilty? Because a lot of these people who have insight do feel bad about expressing anger later on when they can't fix it. So remember those moments. So there are many techniques and tools which certain other program we can talk. But coming back to the question you were raising, which is very important, I have seen that through the clip from Delhi Vidhan Sabha. I think this is unbelievable. First of all, what is unbelievable? It took 32 odd years for world's largest movie producing industry, which is Hindi, which is Indian cinema, Bharatiya cinema, I would call it, India, Telugu, you name it, all the movies together. They make movies on topics you won't even believe, but they don't find a single audacity to make on the plight of Hindus. All what they made is Shikara, which is a joke, love story. Vidhu Vinod Chopra. That, I mean, it's unbelievable. 32 years it took. After a whole community of 5 lakh people were displaced, murdered, and you have seen 1% of what happened to our community, tortured, raped, mentally distorted. Generations were lost. People died to snake bites, bichu bites. People have post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, you name it. People are still suffering and living with that trauma. Even in our extended families, people have lost their lives to terrorism. And my cousins are in defense forces in India. So it's a big tragedy, and that's part one of the issue. The second part of the issue is there was a state-sponsored issue. Like as in the state government disappeared, they keep blaming it on the governor, which is not true. We all know from 84 these problems started. 86 there was a massacre in Bijbada, and then 89 when Farooq Abdullah was there. I think it was a very close
So
nexus. And
yeah,
then the center,
I'm sorry
I'm
to
just coming,
yeah
give me 30
yeah
seconds. I'm just
okay.
coming to that point because
Hmm.
I have to. So, and the center also left. And then not to talk about the media, which can cover, you name it, any topic, but they didn't show any interest. And then the Bollywood. The people who make the narrative just left us on our own fate, sort of thing. Luckily, our community is the Upasak of Vidya, Devi of Saraswati. So everybody struggled hard and tried to gain education in whichever way could they could find. And somehow they, with the grace of God, they were able to do little bit, not to the potential they could have risen. After all this guy is making fun of our plight. He's saying this movie is fake, which it is not. These are real testimonies of 600 odd families showing 1% of what happened. And then he's saying, I'm glad that this movie made a lot of money, which is 250 crores as of yesterday, nationally and internationally is collected. And Vivek Agnihotre had said he will donate a significant portion of it to the betterment of Kashmiri people who have left and have tortured and suffered. After that he himself and the lady behind him, who's a elected representative, were laughing on this. I really think the
There were many
LG
people
of the
laughing. Yeah.
I really think the LG of Delhi, who's the representative of the President of India, who's the first citizen of India, takes a notice of this and suspends those MLAs. And if needed, there should be a lawsuit done against these MLAs by the Supreme Court. Or why is Supreme Court not taking a notice of it? They take notice of each and every small little thing. Or Delhi High Court. This
So
has
yeah.
insulted an entire community's plight. In Europe, Poland, if you say the Nazi Holocaust did not happen, Jewish Holocaust didn't happen, you can go to jail for it. And here is a representative in the Delhi elected Vidhan Sabha openly saying this movie is fake and laughing on the plight of Hindus. How shameful is that?
And not only that, Dr. Sharma, he also continues by saying that 8 साल में प्रधानमंत्री ने कुछ किया नहीं तो विवेक अग्निहोत्री के चरणों में बैठना पड़ा. So these were kind of derogatory remarks, but we don't have enough time to go through more of this side. So we will probably move towards the concluding part with a very important question. I'll request you to be brief, Dr. Sharma. See, social media or news generates a sense of anger among us. And now I'm not talking about the Kashmiri files or XYZ. I'm talking in general. And that doesn't help you if you are reading a news or you're watching a television. So you need to process it in a way that it doesn't affect your health. From that point of view, what advice you can give?
Social media is a great platform for people to know and to react. But the problem is so much stuff is incomplete or not accurate. Uh, just for the sake of doing it myself, I did put something on Facebook today against Will Smith, and I was surprised that 50% people were on the side of Chris Rock, the other 50% were on the side of Will Smith because they don't have accurate picture of exactly what happened. A lot of people wrote, well, if it was my wife. So that's not the question here, wife or not. Jada is an actress. So
No,
that
no,
was not
leave.
pointed to anybody's wife. It was pointed to her. That's number one. Number two, people have their opinions, and I don't mind. I may have one opinion and somebody else has totally different opinion. So
So,
that's what human nature is, and I respect whatever they think is great. But as far as Kashmir Files is concerned, it's a true story. Perhaps they did not
so
show enough
Dr. Sahab,
that they could have.
I hope I won't anger you, but the time tells me to wind up. So I'll just say one point which Dr. Dheeraj, being Sri Vidya Upasaka, would agree with me is that I think detachment helps us in taking care of our anger because with detach, you can have a sort of macro look at the situation and probably come out of the grip which that moment pulls you and takes you in. But such an interesting conversation and on an important and topical issue. Dr. Sharma, thank you very much. Dr. Dheeraj, so, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you
And,
so
and
much.
and especially thanks to all of you for being a part of this conversation. This is Ashok Vyas. Stay peaceful, stay in tune to your inner harmony. Thank you.